So I want to talk about like kind of like a confirmation I got yesterday about love. So anyways, yesterday at like 5 o'clock we went to the hospital for my husband. He had like the burps, and so he also has sometimes he has chest pains with that, and it's for him it's kind of scary. So we this is nothing like out of the abnormal. We go to the hospital, frequently for like random things. Sometimes it's serious, but sometimes it's a wee bit like hypochondriac-ish. And so I don't have a car, and but you can ride passenger. If you call an ambulance, you'll get into the emergency room. Usually you'll get in quicker. Um and I was able to ride passenger. It's pretty cool riding in an ambulance, like in the passenger. Um and So it all went fine. It turned out he just had the burps. But let me tell you, like, I passionately hate going to the hospital. They take forever to do anything. And all he really, if you have chest pain and you want to confirm, that it's not a heart attack, what needs to happen is they'll give you like x-rays of your heart and do an EKG and all that. You can do your own EKG at home with something called a cardia. But you need blood work done, and it'll test for the certain levels of the certain molecule. And so yeah, he was good, but it took forever. It took them like 8 hours altogether, and we were there until like 12:30 at night. It would have been longer, but finally my husband got somebody to pull his IV out, some nurse, and just left. Um, Well, so I freaking hate being in a hospital. So sometimes like I'm tempted to be like hateful in my heart. I'll hold it in at least. I'll hold it in, especially, if it's something that I think that I deem as like hypochondria. Yeah, hypochondria. Um I'm sure everybody knows what that is. It's just where you're paranoid, you have all these like serious illnesses, and it's just something goofy like anxiety or the burps or something. Um So, uh, hypochondria is real. If one of your family members or your spouse has hypochondria, you know that it is a bad trial to go through. It will really test you because it can really waste your time, the person's time, give you all this unnecessary stress, and also don't forget, waste the doctors and the nurses' time as well. So people that are truly suffering. But I'm not saying that my husband has it. I don't know if he does, but sometimes like it just drives me crazy, if I think it is. So yesterday in the ambulance, I was like, as much as I hate the hospital, I know this is going to be like an all-night ordeal. And like 10 out of 10, I would say he's just got the burps because that's really what it was. Sometimes you do have some chest pain, but he didn't have any other symptoms, at all. So, and we've been through this before, so. But I still, yesterday in the hospital, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be hateful in my heart towards this. I'm just going to be loving. I'm going to, I do love my husband. I'm just going to be loving towards everybody, and I'm just going to be loving, and all of a sudden, like, I kid you not, I could feel the spirit of Jesus. Sometimes this does happen to us as Christians, like, sometimes for me this is like a really special thing because I like super hate the hospital. So for me in my heart not to be like all full of hate, it's actually like a breakthrough. So I could actually feel the spirit of Jesus like wash over me or something, and like not wash over me, but all cheesy and stuff. But tell me that I passed like this big test, and finally, and that love was the answer, and I could just feel like the spirit of Jesus. And It was like pretty awesome. Oh yeah, so then at the hospital, I was just wandering. Oh yeah, I didn't have to go in because the hospital was full. It was like completely full, and this is a big hospital. We live in a decent sized city, in North Carolina. So a pretty decent sized hospital, and it was completely full. You can imagine, like, I guess with flu and pneumonia patients. And so I couldn't go in as a visitor at all. And so that was, to me, that's like a huge blessing. And we had great weather yesterday. It was like 70 or something. So I was just outside. Like, I don't have a car, so I couldn't wait in my car or nothing. Just wandering around the parking deck. And it was a blast because, like, I got to watch the helicopters land. It was so cool. And they were, like, landing, like, right overhead of me. I got some great pictures of that. And, yeah, that was like a blast, man. And just wandering around, like exploring like certain things. I just love doing that, because I'm kind of like outdoorsy. Um, so you do run into weird like homeless people, but anyways, so like I said, oh yeah, so at one point it did get cold. It was like at midnight. And Jesus Happy like put this this YouTuber, this awesome YouTuber. This is like one of the wisest people ever, and I totally recommend this YouTuber. If you're still listening to this, thank you. But this YouTuber's name is Jesus Happy, and he does all these like awesome Christian videos, and he kind of gets like more in the meat of the word. And a lot of videos about like the Oregon coast, so that's awesome. This guy's really just wise and so funny. And I've been listening to this YouTuber for like a long time now. For over 10 years. And so he did this video about like two things that Jesus showed him, and one of them was like just love them. And oh my gosh, it like totally confirmed my thing earlier about just love. Love is the answer. For me that's pretty rare. I was like raised in a household as kind of, you know, anyway, I don't want to get into that. So, yeah, so I just thought that was like completely awesome. Um, yeah, and it's a huge blessing not having to go into the hospital. So, anyways, God bless you guys. And remember that love is the answer. You have sometimes, when you're suffering, it is really hard to love. Sometimes it's really hard when you're suffering. Even when you're like miserable at a job, oh my gosh. But when you have that like breakthrough, when you just do it, when you just do it, you'll find that like it's the answer. So, one person I'm having a really hard time with this. I'm not going to say I'm still not perfect at this because I am having a hard time like with my upstairs neighbor. It's this elderly woman, and she's like not I don't think she's saved, and she's just harassing me. She's like really quiet during the day, but then at like 3 a.m. she'll do this like huge crash, and it'll wake me up like for the whole entire rest of the night. I mean, I know it's spiritual. I'm sure she's demon possessed. I'm not just saying that to be cute. Like, I'm sure. Okay, so God bless you guys.